As you can see, crews are still hard at work behind me following yesterday's devastating flash flooding. And if I bring you over here, you can see just how much mud is covering these roads. Now, this is what the road looks like as you walk here or drive here along Jan Davis Drive. It's a thick, muddy mess surrounding these residents' homes. I've been speaking with neighbors here who've lived in this area for more than 20 years, and they tell me this is the worst flooding they've ever seen in this area. They tell me the flooding came out of nowhere, knocking down trees and causing havoc, and say they are now without water and power.
You know, you don't know what you're going to do until it happens to you. You got to get out of the truck. You have to do something to get high ground.
The Cow Creek Volunteer Fire Department has been helping out, bringing in supplies to these community members in need, but many are worried about just how long this cleanup process will take. Residents are keeping their eyes to the sky as there's more rain in the forecast, and they say they're not sure how much more of this they can take. Well, Amanda and Marilee, things are starting to wind down here at 20 Paradise Lane in Ona. I'm going to step out of frame so that you can see the firefighters are starting to wrap down. I mean, you can only imagine what they're going through in this hot weather. And as those drivers are filling up these pumps, they're keeping a close eye on this screen right here as those painful numbers here at these pumps are just continuing to get worse. I mean, the ginormous road slip you see behind me is here months later, and I was here at the end of June, and now there are actually plants growing out of the rubble. As you can see, this is all that's left of this gun range, and Bear tells me it is a total loss and that it took firefighters around 6 hours to extinguish these flames. And when seconds count, training matters. Well, I'm in Huntington along Camp Creek Road, and you can just see the damage from today's flash flooding right behind me. A whole bunch of tree branches scattered along the road, and there's also this bridge right here, which is really concerning residents because there's cracks along it, and it just looks very unstable. And residents tell me they're really concerned because the school bus actually makes its way along that route. However, that's not the only thing that residents are concerned about following today's aftermath from the flash flooding. Residents tell me the flooding appeared in a matter of minutes, flooding some of their homes, garages, yards, and the roads. One resident told me he had around 8 feet of water in his basement, saying most of his stuff is damaged and his car's engines are ruined. Local businesses also batted these high waters. The Kenny Queen hardware store just a mile from here tells me the flooding happened in just minutes, saying the water was up to the height of the car doors in their parking lot.
We had stuff floating off. We've got pallets of sandbags we piled to keep it from coming in the store, and it all come at one time.
Just across the street from the hardware store is 152, which also covered with high water. Many drivers struggle to drive through this area or just turned around completely in fear of not making it through those waters. Now, residents who've lived in this area for more than 40 years tell me this is the worst flooding that they've seen in this area. Live in Wayne County, Andie Bernhardt, 13 News. With the increase in gas prices,
I paid $75. Our gas budget has actually just almost doubled.
Mindy Diamond is considering trading in her SUV for a more fuel-efficient car. But other people are trading things that are near and dear to their hearts for cash at pawn shops.
We have been seeing some new faces. It's usually kind of just like the regulars and stuff that just kind of use us for like a bank essentially. But there is a lot of new people that are coming in.
I went to 5 different pawn shops today in Cabell County, and the story is similar at each one as people are selling electronics and jewelry just to fill up their gas tanks.
There's people that has to, and that's a shame they have to do that though. Especially if it's person, you know, if they really need something, you know, like what they have and they had to sell it.
It's hurting a lot of people. I got some friends that's all they do. They scrap for extra money.
And whether it's scrapping or pawning, it's not just to fill up the tank.
The groceries have went through the roof, of course, so everybody's just like struggling to eat. So they're obviously going to buy food first before that, and then they'll come here and get money for their utility bills, gas, etc.
If you take one thing up, it'll take away from something else, and that'll make it a lot harder for people to budget and get by because people already live paycheck to paycheck.
Wondering what other sacrifices they will have to make just to make it day to day. In Huntington, Andie Bernhardt, 13 News.